Indigenous peoples have been left out of the development of the information society, just as they have been left out of the mainstream by marginalization and neglect. Indigenous peoples have made strides in recent years to close the digital divide by using the internet when and where they have access. There are many positive examples of Indigenous use of modern technology to access the World Wide Web, to get information, but also to spread their messages, language, and culture to others. The indigenousportal.com is only one example. There are many others. But there is still a long way to go. There are many Indigenous peoples who cannot access the internet because of a lack of equipment, electricity, or cannot meet the expense of high-speed internet. Local radio transmitters are still the best way for Indigenous peoples to transmit information in rural areas. Connecting Indigenous peoples across the digital divide is crucial to Indigenous cooperation. The endorsement by the United Nations of the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples should be a guideline in implementing the WSIS Plan of Action. The Declaration outlines how international human rights standards should be applied to Indigenous peoples. The right to self-determination and free, prior, and informed consent are issues that affect the Indigenous peoples are relevant to how the information society should interact with Indigenous peoples. The implementation of the WSIS Plan of Action, line C8, which promotes the enhancement of the capacity of Indigenous peoples to develop content in their own languages, develop and implement policies that preserve, affirm, respect, and promote diversity of cultural expressions and Indigenous knowledge and traditions, should be supported and resourced in partnership with Indigenous peoples if we are to show progress in the review year of 2015. Mr. Karklin of UNESCO proposed to host a meeting in Paris in 2013 which could broaden the support base and audience for WSIS implementation objectives, particularly with action lines that coincide with the mandate of UNESCO, such as culture, science, and education. Indigenous peoples need to be treated as targets or target audiences, but as equal participants in the development of the information society. They should be involved in every level of activity to ensure inclusiveness. The WSIS Plan of Action should not end in 2015. It is obvious that its goals will not be met by that time, but it should continue beyond that year with the direct resourced participation of Indigenous representatives in the WSIS process. In closing, the Indigenous ICT Task Force was created in 2005 to follow up on the WSIS Plan of Action. This task force is ready to continue to be involved in the ongoing development of the information society at all levels. We look forward to your work together. My name is Kenneth Deere on behalf of the Indigenous ICT Task Force. Thank you.